Welcome everybody. I'm going to explain to you a few things about Essa, just explain the score for the conductors, for the ensemble leader or the soloist who is playing this part or this piece. The name Essa is based on Essaouira in Morocco. It's on the coast, a very beautiful town. It has a very beautiful beach side. You have the sun like shining over the water. It's mostly good weather there. It has this very magical atmosphere basically, and it's an old Medina, so there are very small streets. So you walk through this Medina and you turn left and there's a completely new something. So it's a very mysterious experience to walk through these small streets and to just like find your way. So in the piece I try to capture two atmospheres. One was the drummers who I saw there from Morocco, who came to the Gnawa festival, and they were playing on the streets with a lot of times hand drums. So they were using these kind of big tambourines with these kind of skins like, and like very festive. But they also had these small drums that they were playing with sticks and with hands. And I found it very cool that they had like rhythms that were going through each other, and there's like a lot of energy and all was going faster, 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 and people were clapping. It seems that all the people in Morocco can like play a 6/8 or a 12/8. So this is very vibrant energy that I was looking for in the beginning of this piece. So the first movement is about this. The second movement is about this sunshine and the beautiful part of Essaouira and the water and this whole mysterious part basically. The instrumentation is then also for hand drums. Everyone is playing hand drums. We're seated with this soloist in the middle, part 1, 2, 3, 4 behind it. Can be played by 5 people but also 50. So then the parts don't become a solo part but they become an ensemble, like a string section basically. I also want to challenge you to work more like a string orchestra does. So to breathe together, to sing together, to move together. And therefore the hands actually is a very nice instrument, because you have a feeling with the instruments and you can connect better as a player with what the drum actually does. So the type of drums you can use are any drum that has a natural skin. I know that these are quite expensive. These are Chinese tom-toms. They sound very awesome though. I think the soloist can use a sabach or a high drum like this. But you can also buy online these kind of bongos. These are from Morocco, and I bought these for $10 on Marktplaats in the Netherlands. So they actually sound great. So you can just go online and look for these kind of drums with a natural skin, and people sell them sometimes for 10 euros, 15 euros. So a little bit of work and you will have like 15 drums in your group, all with like nice natural skins. This one is now a bit low. But you can put the electric cloth or put some fire with it and it will heat up. So it's a good recommendation. Also, just the first part I recorded just with a set of bongos. So yeah, if you have bongos lying around, you can also use those. Then in the second part we have the marimba. For 10 players you can use one marimba. We will show you later. If you have more than 10 players, then maybe first add a vibraphone, and then you can, for 14 players and upwards, you can decide to add a glockenspiel or a crotales or maybe an extra marimba. Any bowed melodic instrument is okay for that. The electronics are all controlled by the sound technician and the soloist, so the group doesn't need to do anything with that. The marimba is amplified, so know that there are like microphones on the sides hanging above the instrument. Then I want to just explain to you how the piece is structured. For all the separate parts we will make separate videos for people to study with and to explain how the playing style is like. This video is more about the general composition itself and how I think you can work together with the players. So the beginning is the first part is based on these rhythms, and instead of immediately starting to play, I would recommend that you just like walk 1, 2, 3, 4. So you just like walk right, right, left, left, right, right, and you feel also like it's a heavy beat. It's also heavy light, heavy light, heavy light, heavy light. And then just challenge them to sing their parts. Boom ga ga, 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 boom ga ga. We have to remember that in Africa, and it's completely different from Netherlands or like Western culture, the bass is always like before the downbeat. So boom ga ga, 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 boom ga ga. They can clap also. If you want to make it more difficult, you can do afterbeats for people like to study at home. Ga ga, boom ga ga, boom ga ga, boom ga ga. So you can like find a way how to work with them, but clapping and singing is actually the best. It's also how you study it in Africa. Then the second part basically is tutu patutu 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 patutu. The third part dugu dugu da kum 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 dugu dugu da. And you can just glue the hands. You don't need to do fancy things. You just open, glue, 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 open, open. And the fourth part is also like that. It shifts because it's a 3/8 there. So so in the recording you will hear that it moves 8 note basically. And then the percussion X is for the players that are less experienced or less far. You can use a very small high drum. It can be a plastic skin. Tac 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 toom, tac 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 toom. The soloist gives each cue, and when all this is going, we arrive at the first phrase, which is also, please first sing it. Toon 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 ta ta toon 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 tan tan toon toon ta ta toon 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 tan tan toon toon tatu 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 tatu. It's less important that this is very rhythmical. It has to be melodical. Toon 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 tan tan toon 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 tan tan toon toon tan ta toon 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 tan tan toon toon tatu 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 tatu. So it might even be an option that instead of giving the players the score already, maybe just we can give them like, this is your rhythm, ka ka goom ka ka goom ka ka goom ka ka, and then tu 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 ta ta, and then repeat tu 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 ta ta, tu 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 ta ta, tu tu tu, and really learn from singing and not from reading and playing. It's a different approach to how we study music in the West, but I believe it's a very musical approach. So I would like to challenge you to challenge your players to work in this way. Then we have the introduction basically done. We get to B, the same rhythm starts, the basic rhythm every player starts, and then phrases start to happen. So the soloist plays tu 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 ta ta, 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 ta tu ta tu ta, tu ku taka tu ku taka tu ku taka tu ku taka tu ru ku taka pa kum ta ta tu ta tu ta ta tu ta tu ta ta tu. So all these answers start to happen from the groups basically. And that's like rhythm there, phrase 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 there, to complete chaos. So we end up in basically we have C, more phrases going through each other, phrases, 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 and then we end up in 41. You see these slurs, and those are basically meant that the players repeat that phrase. So the slur means this phrase, just keep on looping it until you hear the soloist doing the call for stop, which is bar 47 basically. And then everyone stops. So also a visual cue, everyone stops. So that can become complete chaos if people don't know anymore what to do. Just keep on playing. It has to be like loud and can go. We arrive in D. It's basically we calm down. The soloist does a little toot toot ta ta toot toot. Also again based on the first phrase, and introduces this Moroccan rhythm from Marrakesh. and it can be improvised until you hear, and then pa 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 ka koom. So this is an important, it's also from Marrakesh, it's an important call. To the ka 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 ka, 1, 2, pa ka ka ka, 1, 2, pa ka ka ka. So it might be really fun in the group to just be playing with everybody. And then the ensemble leader can play. And then like make sure that they start to recognize this rhythm. Pa ka 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 ka, and stop. In this case, I play the phrase to the ka 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 ka, and everyone starts the same rhythm. To the ka. Faster, faster. Goom, 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 goom. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we arrive on F. F is a little bit different section. It's basically a kind of classical approach on the Moroccan rhythm. So you hear. So it's important that we work on the slurs, so it doesn't sound like but very light. So all the cross notes are basically ghost notes. You don't really need to hear them. It can be very light and more like Mozart basically. So it would be very nice if you can also sing this again at the rehearsal. Everyone sings their part and make it also phrase-like. So not rhythmical like, but it has to be, of course, in time, but it can be melodic again. We go on, we go on, we go on. We arrive on 91. The same music. So like this. Basically, you move your hand up to create a pitch shift. Then little solo for the extra part. Same music. Same music, same music, same. We arrive on 109, where the solo starts to play. Everyone enters on the right moment, and then we just play, and we go on until basically the next movement. Here also 129, we go faster, 125, faster, arrive on 129, and just can become chaos again. And then also the solos can give that cue for H. So an H just rolls. Then you see in the score record loop. So basically the soloist records the second and third roll. So it's important that the first percussionist gives a cue for the second roll and the third roll and the fourth roll. Those are recorded. Then the ensemble stops playing and the electronics take over. So we hear the roll but then reversed. The soloist starts to play marimba with the electronics, and all the players move to the marimba, and basically the only thing they do, preferably they have 2 bows each, which I know is difficult because we might not have enough, and then you bow on 1 bar. So you see the notes, and they can bow C, D flat, D, E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat, C. So yeah, that's the only thing then they do, and it will be nice to start with you have to use the full range of the instrument, start low, and then add higher. And then when the gong starts, slowly the low ones start to stop. So we end up with these high bowed sounds basically. So everyone can join that, like a nice string player. We will show you in a video how that is done. And then I think that's it for the whole piece.